Welcome to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. And this is a big week on Bainbridge Island. We have a lot of activities. We have the 3rd of July, the 4th of July, the 5th of July, and the 6th of July, which, as we'll learn, is quite a bit. There's something going on every day. I want to thank Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island, which helps the Senior Community Center with funding, something to talk about. They offer assisted and independent living and memory care up on Rolling Bay. And if you'd like, you can get a free lunch in their bar and grill. All you have to do is call 206-594-1010, ask for Celia or Jamie. And in the meantime, you can check out their website at fieldstonecommunities.com. So John Carson and Jessica Perkins, John from the Downtown Association and Jessica from the Chamber, are both with us today. And I appreciate you both taking a little time out of what it's got to be a pretty busy week right now to spend a little time with us to talk about what we can expect. So I'm thinking that we might start with John and the fact that we're going to start seeing some road closures pretty soon here because we have a big party coming up on July 3rd. Can you tell us a little bit about that party that the Downtown Association puts together, John?
Sure. We've got the street dance starting on Wednesday, sort of kicking off all of the activities. The streets will close, the street, I should say, singular, Winslow Way will close at 12 noon, allowing a couple of hours for cars to make their way off the street before all of our vendors begin setting up. And the format for the street dance, it's going to be very similar to previous years. We'll have the stage with 3 different bands. In addition, on the other end of Winslow Way, we'll have a DJ and some music for perhaps a little younger audience. I know that tends to be popular with the middle school and high school kids, the DJ. We have 8 different food vendors who are coming and participating as in years past. Additionally, we'll have a kids zone sponsored by Kidamu, as well as some other kids activities up and down the lane. And then lastly, we will again have the beer and wine garden, which will be sort of located centrally on the middle of Winslow Way in front of Umpqua Bank.
It's a wonderful thing because you can see the whole family there. And if a family member is in the beer garden, they are not inaccessible. Hey, Mom, come over here. Tell me what's going on.
And the beer garden is going to be about 30% larger. That was one request that the city had of us, was to make it a little larger. So we've gotten some additional fencing procured as well, and some additional little wooden stanchions and things. So it's going to be a larger beer garden this year.
Okay, Sheila, do you have a question for John?
I have 2. What time does it all start on the 3rd?
Good question. So 6 p.m. is the official start time, sorry. So 6 to 11 on Wednesday. Beautiful. And the weather looking good so far, knock on wood.
Okay, very so I have friends who are coming down from Hansville. Can they still drive all the way down? And I live on Parfit. So are they going to drive all the way down Madison? Can they come all the way through?
I don't, and Jessica might know the answer to this better than I do, when the Madison closure is going to be. I think that won't be till later on the 3rd before the 4th.
Yeah, so for the 3rd, they can drive all the way through.
Yes.
Just on the 3rd, though, keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah, that's when they're coming down.
Perfect.
Yeah. Parking is, of course, always one of those tricky issues for the entire holiday event. You've got the public parking at City Hall and a few other places, but I'm sure it will be crowded per usual.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to ask was about whether you have any particular requests of those of us who live here. I kind of think of the 3rd as the beginning of our party before all the visitors come and join us.
Sure. Yeah.
Are there things we can do to make it an easier event for our friends and neighbors?
Well, I really appreciate you asking that. I think the community has already responded in that way, and that we have more volunteers this year than we've ever had for the street dance. I've been very overwhelmed with the number of volunteers we have, both Bainbridge Island Rowing, both their rowers helping with setup and parents of rowers helping work the beer garden and man some other posts. So we've got a lot of people there, plus just a number of other people in the community. So we're feeling really good about that turnout and just having a lot of support from people in here in the community for a fun evening.
Great. Yeah. And like you said, the weather looks all week. Well, maybe Rotary, it's going to be a little warm, but it looks like Wednesday and Thursday should be okay. So on the 3rd, I guess, we're going to start to see closures in advance of the 4th, right, Jessica?
Well, we don't close anything off other than Winslow Way between Madison and Erickson on the 4th, or on the 3rd, excuse me. So, really keep in mind there's going to be major road closures then happening on the 4th, starting at 6 a.m., which is Bejune and Bryan, from Winslow to Madison. So that whole area is our street fair. The street fair starts at 9, it ends at 5. That's where the food booths are, arts and crafts. Further down into Waterfront Park is our kids zone, bouncy houses, putt-putt golf, face painter, and pony rides. And then our beer garden opens at 11, and that's next to the rowing center, and that closes at 5. But then we have the BYS Fun Run, which is about 1,000 participants. They have a little different route this year. They're going to both the runs are going to start on Winslow. So the 1 mile and the 3K, it goes up Erickson, across Wyatt, and then the 1 mile goes down Madison and finishes at Madison. So Madison will close between Wyatt and Winslow at 9 a.m. But then when the 5K? The 5K, excuse me, runs, it's going to have rolling road closures. So Erickson all the way to Wyatt, then to like Sportsman, up to high school, then down Madison, and those are going to be rolling closures. So what I'm going to say to the community is bring your patience. Realize that everyone that's working on this stuff, we're all volunteers. And so just be really appreciative. We're so happy to have over 100 volunteers that help out for July 4th. That does not include the BYS Fun Run. So the BYS Fun Run, those runs start at 9. So probably around 10:30, 10:45, you'll start to see streets kind of open back up again, but then we close roads at 11, which includes Madison. So high school all the way down to Winslow, Madison will be closed because we start lining up that mile-long parade, Bainbridge Island's largest parade. 67 floats and groups this year. It's going to be a little different because of the Madison Road closure. So we do have some, majority of our parade participants are entering on Erickson and going up to Wallace, and they'll be lining up on Wallace. So I think in a nutshell, that kind of captures it all. We are recommending that people park at the ferry terminal and pay for parking for the day. We do not have shuttles this year due to a bunch of factors, but it's easy. It may actually be cheaper to park at the ferry all day and enjoy the festivities. Handicap, we do have the John L. Scott parking lot for handicap, but keep in mind that we can't ticket people, so people may park there that aren't handicapped, but we do have signs and we'll have volunteers checking in to make sure that those cars are hopefully handicapped and they're
Do your
following.
best to, right, that's one thing you can do is not take somebody's spot who needs it because they have a wheelchair or other need to move around town.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, patience and gratitude for all those that are working and helping out.
Yeah, well, I know that Sustainable Bainbridge is going to be very active this week, helping out to make sure that the trash is organized. How? I bet we create a lot of trash. How does that all work out? Either one of you.
Well, Bainbridge Disposal has been is so generous, and they donate to one of our sponsors for both the July 3rd and July 4th and Rotary. So they're busy. Starting on the afternoon of the 3rd, we have a group of volunteers that go out and put out garbage cans with Zero Waste Sustainable Bainbridge. And we put it all over the area. I know John has a different system, but we do coordinate together. And then we have a group from the high school who is participating, and they get sponsorship as well. They get paid to help out all day on the 4th collecting trash. And part of that duty is also water. So we have huge 5-gallon waters, thanks to the city of Bainbridge Island, and water dispensers out in 7 locations throughout the 2-mile radius. That will be filling and making sure that are running correctly. So if you are in the area, you're coming down to celebrate, bring a reusable water bottle, so we can help, keep Bainbridge more environmental and clean.
Yeah, and that's I heard from some of the Sustainable Bainbridge Zero Waste folks who are already working at the Rotary, and the Rotary event is Saturday, that they're going to have water dispensers there too. So you can just make your water bottle a permanent part of your weekend equipment.
Yes. Have your name on it with your phone number in case you lose it or leave it somewhere. We'll find it and call you. And then Bainbridge Repairs is also a big help for Rotary and for July 4th. We do have, of course, the fire department and police as a partner, but Bainbridge Repairs steps in, and they have volunteers that come out that know first aid and other emergency knowledge.
Great. Yeah, and I know that there's a lot of things, there's a whole bunch of activities that we aren't going to probably be able to walk through today on the 4th, but you have the Grand Old 4th 2024, I think is the way to find it on the web, a list of everything.
Yeah, grandoldfourth.com.
Okay.
Grand, yeah, or just go to Bainbridge Chamber. So it's Grand Old Fourth, GRAND old OLD fourth.com with the 4, number 4, or the Chamber of Commerce. And they have all the schedule of events, and including a map to get to parking and road closures if you're coming from the south end of the island.
Yeah, let me see. I'm just going to call it up here. Yep. So that's good. And I think that there's a car show that is great fun. And there's also, our folks at the Senior Community Center are going to have a photo show, as we do every year, where there's a people's choice in both the cars and the photos, and booths all over town. So and of course we start off the day on the 4th with the pancake breakfast.
Yes, at 7 a.m. in the TNC parking lot. One thing to also know for the community is that Town and Country is open, but there's no parking. They're not allowing any public parking or handicap parking in any of their lots. So if you do happen to need to go to TNC, you'd have to park somewhere else and head on in.
Great. And then on the 5th, I know that there's going to be a couple of shows of musicians in the green. So as we're recovering.
Well, the 5th is Art Walk, Moonlight Market, and auction preview night. So for a couple of dollars, you can donate to go preview for your favorite item at the Rotary auction and walk through. I think it's 5 to 7 or 5 to 8.
Okay, I'm going to check that out too. And that's also available online, Bainbridge Rotary Auction. And let's see, they are saying preview night is from 5 to 8. Admission is free, but donations are accepted. And then again, they have a big day on the 6th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah.
The July art walks are always the largest number of participants for downtown businesses members, whether it's be the art galleries, gift shops, restaurants, and everything. So my understanding is that's the case again this year. So if anyone is feeling up to it and getting out on Friday night with the weather looking great, I think there's going to be just a tremendous amount of art to see and a lot of live music out there, and just an incredible evening that night.
This is the right week to take vacation, isn't it? So you can volunteer and participate.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can rest next week though.
So
All right.
That's the 5th, and then the 6th, is a Rotary action, and that's about 7,000 people. So they're still, you can drop off items today as well as tomorrow. The 3rd, they stop drop off at noon. And then you go shopping on Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been very informative, and you can find a lot of more detail on the web for these activities. I really appreciate the hard work that you guys do to help make this happen. It's really a great time for community building and for us to also welcome folks to the island in a way that is hospitable, and I'm glad the weather is going to work out so well for us this year. Be safe. Oh, I should also mention no fireworks on Bainbridge Island. So be safe and sane and enjoy other things besides trying to blow things up. It's also probably, with our increasing wildfire risk, a good idea for us to get out of the habit of thinking of fireworks as an essential part of the 4th of July. Jessica and John, thanks a lot. I appreciate you spending the time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.